The sport of boxing is a practice of fighting with fists, especially with padded gloves in a rope square ring according to the prescribed Queensberry rules. Over the last decade, the sport has rapidly gained popularity, specifically in the UK, with big-name fighters such as Anthony Joshua winning his 4th heavyweight IBF belt. I have been lucky enough to land an interview with former national middleweight champion Graham Tyrrell. First question I have for you today is what initially got you into boxing?
Basically, it was a guy called Richard Howe who owns this gym. He got me into boxing. Basically, I was, messing around on the streets, young, getting into trouble. And then one day I met up with him and we had a chat. And he said to me, why don't I give boxing a go? And he invited me to come down to this gym, and where there was another pro called Stephen the Bear Kinnersley. So I come down and to do a bit of training with him and sparring. And then the first day I sparred him, he gave me a good pasting, blood everywhere. He beat me up good and proper. And then I went away, and they invited me back again. And I come back again, and I just kept coming back. And then at first it was just a bit of fun, just coming down, doing something. And then I started to get good at it. Kept coming back to training every time training session was on. I made it. And then basically he said, why don't you try and get your professional boxing license? So we went down that route, and then I just kept training, kept dedicating myself to the sport. And then before we knew it, I was doing my first professional fight in Stevenage. And so really the main guy that got me into boxing was a guy called Richard.
Alright, yeah. So like Richard and obviously Stephen Kingsley or the Bear, like these people got you into boxing, they inspired you. Who were your other inspirations for starting boxing?
Well, obviously, at that time when I was growing up, it was Ricky the Hitman Hatton. He was the guy, he was the man, he was the people's champ. So I'd say he was a big influence for me because I used to watch him on TV. Everyone loved him. He was a real come-forward fighter, really aggressive, exciting to watch, and everyone loved Ricky Hatton. So I'd say Ricky Hatton was probably my biggest influence when it comes to boxing.
Any sort of difficulties or troubles?
Oh yeah, I definitely had troubles along the way. Financially, struggled because obviously didn't have a job at the time. I remember one incident, so I changed trainers and I tried to go to this London club. I think this was around my sort of like 4th professional fight. I was going into my 5th, and I needed I fancied a new trainer, thought it could progress me, and I jumped in the deep end. And then it was in London, the club was, and so I started this new training camp. I was going up there training. It was a bit out of my depth. These guys have been boxing a lot longer than me, and one sparring session I was there, I got knocked out in the sparring session. I was a bit tired, wasn't really focused, and anyway I got knocked out. And the guys there, the trainers and that, they told me I weren't good enough. They told me to quit while I was ahead, and I wasn't very talented. They didn't think I had the attributes to make it as a professional. But I stuck with it. I changed trainers again, come back to my old trainer. Stuck with it and kept going, kept training, kept believing the dream that no one else didn't see. And I won 3 more fights.
So, do you have any words of encouragement to say anybody, potentially inspire them to be a champion as well?
Yeah, definitely. You have to chase your dreams. even if you're the only one that can see the dream, because everyone around you is going to put you down and is going to tell you that it's impossible to achieve your dream. But you just got to keep focused and keep pushing towards that dream that only you can see, because sooner or later everyone will see it. But I mean, you've got to work hard to get there. You just got to keep striving forward. You're going to have trials and tribulations, and sometimes you're going to feel like quitting, and sometimes there's even going to be people around telling you to quit. Like them trainers told me I weren't good enough. But you know what I mean, I just believed something. I just kept going, kept pushing, and now I'm 7-0 undefeated, and no one can take that away from me. So yeah, any advice, just keep believing in your dreams and chase them. That's what I'd say.